You know, yesterday, Attorney General William Barr told the Associated Press there is no evidence of widespread voter fraud. And in an election that former cybersecurity chief Chris Krebs calls the most secure election in U.S. history. But you know whose own lawyer said Krebs should be drawn and quartered and shot. And after election officials have been getting death threats, Georgia voting systems manager Gabriel Sterling said enough is enough. Watch.
Joe DeGenova today asked for Chris Krebs, a patriot who ran CISA, to be shot. A 20-something tech in Gwinnett County today has death threats and a noose put out saying he should be hung for treason because he was transferring a report on batches from an EMS to a county computer so he could read it. Mr. President, you have not condemned these actions or this language. Senators, you have not condemned this language or these actions. This has to stop. We need you to step up, and if you're going to take a position of leadership, show some.
I mean, having your spokespeople come out to say this is bad isn't going to cut it. You need to speak up, man. You started this. I mean, am I crazy? Does he need to step up and condemn this kind of behavior, Stunny?
Of course he does. But, you know, I think just as President Obama observed, Trump has failed to grow into this office, into the rigor of the office, and until into the dignity of this office. He is not a person that is willing to unite the country and tamp down the rhetoric and the violence. In fact, what he did was, instead of he doubled down on his allegations of election fraud, and he retweeted that speech that we just showed, and he wrote, "Rigged election, show signatures in envelopes, expose the massive voter fraud in Georgia." That is the very opposite of being presidential and uniting the country. He's just being as divisive as he has ever been. And, you know, he should take note, and everyone should take note, that criminal threats are actionable. They are actionable. It is criminal.
Yes.
And when you have the former cybersecurity advisor and chief being threatened by another lawyer, by a Trump representative, that is something that I believe the authorities should be taking very seriously, and I think the FBI should be investigating.
And it's coming straight from the top, because if that's his lawyer, he's given him permission to speak for him. I mean, Joy, do you think he's going to speak up anytime soon?
Trump. You're talking about Trump. No.
Yeah.
Of course not. First of all, let's not forget that he's the one who said maybe these Second Amendment people will do something about Hillary Clinton. Remember that? So that was his. He believes in violence, apparently, for his people who are against him. But, you know, the other thing is, not to sound like a broken record, but this has been very lucrative for him to keep saying that he won. He keeps shaking down his supporters to the tune of $170 million that he is now collecting. It's fascinating. To lose is to gain all of this money for him. I don't think he would have made as much money if he stayed in office. He has convinced these people that he has won, and they keep sending him these small donations. I feel bad for these people. I mean, and let me just say something. These contributions are to his PAC, his leadership PAC, which means that the money can be used for anything, from membership at golf clubs, travel, rallies, even payments to himself, cheeseburgers, a new wife. Anything he wants to buy, he can buy with this $170 million. You guys out there, stop sending him money. Stop it. It's ridiculous. And that is the reason, and in addition to the fact that the man is lacking in empathy. I mean, there's that always there, which is what Brad Pascal said. The reason he lost the whole thing, the election, is because he's lacking empathy. He couldn't care less about the people who were out there getting coronavirus, and he never said a word about that, like put your masks on, socially distant, and give some leadership to these people. No, the opposite. So yeah, lacking empathy and making money. That's the name of Donald Trump.
Okay. Cool. Sarah, your thought process over seeing his lawyer threaten pretty much, and keeping in mind that he's threatening people who worked for him. Does this make any sense to you?
We just saw a couple weeks ago Steve Bannon calling for a beheading of a few people. So this language and rhetoric is so dangerous and scary in the highest levels of office. And I think that the politics are driving these attacks. The rhetoric is driving these attacks. And there's no longer politicians reining it in. There was a time where we can all remember Senator McCain, Meghan's dad, who during a rally or a town hall called out a woman attacked President Obama and said, he's an Arab, he's something. And he said, okay, hold on. You know, he is a good man. We just disagree. And I remember President Obama doing the same thing about McCain during that same election time. And I thought there was a time where there were grown-ups in the room that said some of these just fall outside the bounds of the game. And we're not seeing any of that, from Governor Whitmer to Dr. Fauci has to have security guards. He's just doing science in his job. There's, you know, like it's a disgusting reality, and the fact that there's not a loud messaging coming out to condemn that immediately and succinctly is just disturbing.
From him.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it should be from him in front of a camera saying, we don't do that. But you know, what's crazy is it appears that every time someone says something he doesn't like, they're fake, they're this. He's doing this to people in his own party who have no reason to help Democrats win. They're doing their job, and yet he's calling for this. And this is now a whole new place in my mind that he's taken us, because if any of us had said anything like that about him, you know, people would have been all over us. They would have been all over us if we said something nasty about the people.
Do you remember what happened to Kathy Griffin? Remember what happened to Kathy Griffin?
Yeah.
She practically lost her career because of that incident.
Just to clarify something Whoopi's saying,
and then these people just blithely say whatever they want.
We've always said since the election, Trump is not for a party. He's for people who are for him. So it doesn't matter where you fall on the spectrum. If you support Trump, he's for you. If you don't, whether you're in the GOP or not, he will cut you off.
Yeah. And literally tell other people to do the same. Now, Sonny, you have a legal note. Please feel free.
Sure. Representatives for Georgia Senators Kelly Loeffler and David Perdue said they condemned violence of any kind, but also said they would not apologize for seeking accountability and accuracy in the state's elections.
I don't think anybody asked for that. I think people are saying to you, you need to step up, not through somebody, but in front of a camera and say, this behavior is not okay. Because if this is what you all stand for in Georgia, if this is what you want people to vote you in for, I think you're making a mistake. I don't think people like this kind of talk or this kind of behavior. Maybe I'm crazy. It's quite possible.